Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello, I'm the reserve for KK Team 1.
Hi, can I just find out from Juna, is your camera really that dark? Could you switch on the light or something?
I
It's hard
already
to see
did.
your,
Yeah, it is that dark. Sorry.
it's very hard to see your expression.
Yeah.
Open windows, maybe? Yes, time skipper. Okay, okay.
Chief Adjudicator, may we start? Chief Adjudicator, may we start?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Greetings, panel of distinguished adjudicators. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all present today. Welcome to the semi-final round of state level Tan Sri Datuk Seri Panglima Dr. Abdul Rahman Ashad Challenge Trophy English Language Debate Competition. The motion for today's debate is this House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life. First, allow me to introduce to you our panel of distinguished adjudicators for today's debate. The chief adjudicator is Madam Audrey Kaur Suifan from Papua. Next, we have Madam Anne Dorin Dorel from Tambunan. Our third adjudicator for today is Madam Jezilka J. Ping, and she is from Kota Marudu. Our fourth adjudicator is Madam Hong Yi Xin from Sandakan. Last but not least, we have on our panel of adjudicators Mr. Alvin Chang Sen Chai from Pensiangan. The timekeepers for this debate are Mr. Muhammad Iqwan and Ms. Maziana. The timekeepers will ensure that the first, second, and third speakers of each team are given 8 minutes to speak. The timekeepers will ring the bell once after the first minute and at the end of the 7th minute to signal the time allocated for each speaker. At the end of the 8th minute, the bell will be rung twice. A maximum time of 3 minutes will be given to both teams to prepare for the reply speech. The time allocated for the reply speech is 4 minutes. During the reply speech, the timekeepers will ring the bell once at the 3rd minute to signal that the speaker has 1 minute left. At the end of the fourth minute, the bell will be rung twice to signal the end of the time allocated for the reply speech. The two PPDs in today's debate are PPD Kota Kinabalu Team 1, which is the government team, and PPD Kota Balut, which is the opposition team. Let me now introduce the debaters to you. From the government representing PPD Kota Kinabalu Team 1 are the Prime Minister, Mr. Alan Paul Justinus Situ, the Deputy Minister, Mr. Ki N Ethan Te, and the Third Minister, Ms. Anushka Yusak Damalingam, and the reserves are Ms. Adele May Lim and Ms. Suvana Maya Pravin. From the opposition representing PPD Kota Balut are the opposition leader, Ms. Jun Jayumi Jimmy, the second opposition speaker, Mr. Heaviness Gunik, and the third opposition speaker, Ms. Dura Khadija. The reserves are Ms. Iverly and Ms. Jill. Before we proceed, I would like to remind the speakers of both teams of some rules and guidelines to observe in the course of the debate. Each debater's substantive speech is marked out of 10, 100 with 44 content, 44 style, and 20 for strategy. The reply speech is marked out of 50 with 20 for content, 20 for style, and 10 for strategy. The government must present a reasonable definition of a motion. In all cases, all team that manages to provide reasons as to why their definition and cases are the most reasonable, practical, and beneficial shall win the debate. If a debater claims that a definition or a case is unreasonable, then they should state reason to support that claim. Adjudicators shall balance reasons and rebuttals in determining which team shall win. The first debater of a government is to define the topic, establish the issue of the debate, outline the government case, announce the case division between the debaters, and present his or her part of the government case. As for the first debater of an opposition side is to respond to the government case, outline the opposition case, announce the case division, and present his or her part of the opposition case. Do take note that the first opposition may challenge the definition and must propose a new definition. The second debater of a government is to deal with the definition if it has been challenged, respond to the other opposition case, and continue with the government case as outlined by the first debater. If the second government does not challenge a redefinition of the debate by the first opposition, the government is taken to have accepted the opposition redefinition and no further challenges to the definition may be made. The role of the second debater of an opposition is to deal with the definition if it is still an issue, respond to the government case, and continue with the opposition case as outlined by the first debater. Both third debaters may deal with the definition if it is still an issue and respond to the other team case. Third debaters should not bring new arguments, new examples to explain points that were made previously or to explain a rebuttal is not considered a new argument. The role of reply speeches is to sum up the debate from the government from team viewpoint, including a response to the other team, overall case, and a summary of the debater's own team case, which will be performed by first or second debater of the team. While the speaker is speaking, the opposing team can offer points of information (POI) between the first and 7 minutes. The purpose of a point of information is to make a short point or ask a short question of the debater. A POI shall be brief and no longer than 15 seconds. As a general rule, a debater should accept at least 2 points of information in his or her speech. No points of information may be offered during the reply speech. I would like to remind everyone in this August House of Parliament to turn off your mobile phones or set them on silent mode so as not interrupt the course of today's debate. Without further ado, I call upon the Prime Minister from the government, Mr. Alan Paul Justinus Situ, to deliver his speech on today's motion. This House opposes the norm that romantic love shall be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life.
Thank you, Chairperson. Am I audible? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, salutations I bid to members of the floor. Today's motion is this House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life. Now, today, as the Prime Minister for today's debate, I will be first providing a clear definition for today's motion. Next, I will be providing the status quo for today's motion. Next, I will be providing the problem statement in the status quo. I will be also providing the government's case line and, of course, our winning argument. Now, after presenting my speech, my Deputy Prime Minister will then be refuting side opposition's claim as well as presenting arguments of our own. Now, after that, followed by my government whip, who will also be refuting side opposition's claim as well as reaffirming our team's stand on the motion. Now, before I jump into anything, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to define today's motion. Now, side government define norm as an accepted standard or a way of behaving or doing things that most people agree. We define romantic love as an emotional feeling of love or a strong attraction towards another person. We also define romantic love as a mutual attraction between two people. Next, side government define primary source as main but not the only origin of which something that can be obtained. Finally, we define fulfillment as the achievement of something desired, promised, or even predicted. So basically, today we said government understanding on this motion is we oppose the accepted standard of a mutual attraction between two people being the main but not the only origin of achievement of something we desire. So, ladies and gentlemen, now the definitions are out of the way, you must be wondering, what is the status quo of the current motion? Now, we live in a society where we tend to place romantic love on a pedestal. We can easily overlook the dynamic ways to experience love. There's the depth of close friendships, the sense of belonging in a community, the intensity of an artistic practice, a connection to our work, or any experience that provides companionship, support, self-discovery, and even the feelings of both elation and misery. Love is found in many people and many aspects of our daily life. This norm, ladies and gentlemen, causes people to put everything away for romantic love because they think romantic love will fulfill them. Now, what is the problem? Society is to focus on the idea of romantic love as primary source of fulfillment in their life that they now believe they will mainly feel content if they had romantic love. Society is too fixated on the norm, which led them to believe that they will primarily be fulfilled in life by romantic love. Now, let me enlighten you, ladies and gentlemen, with our case line. So, we oppose the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life because the norm of romantic love as the primary source in one's life is detrimental to society as fulfillment in life is subjective. Now, let's talk about the burden of proof for both sides in today's debate, ladies and gentlemen. As side government, our burden of proof is we will prove to you how a life with romantic love as the main source of fulfillment is subjective and creates false image or idea for the society and is detrimental to today's world. On side opposition, however, they will prove to us why romantic love as primary source of fulfillment should be a norm and why people shouldn't prioritize other sources of fulfillment. Now, moving on to side government's argument. So, our first argument, the false narrative created by romantic love. Now, what do I mean by false narrative by romantic love? The norm as romantic love creates an image for everyone that they can only be they can primarily be fulfilled because of love. When people have other source to be fulfilled, this norm makes it look like they're not fulfilled enough. Or basically, as long as I have love, I can put everything away and forget about everything else to be fulfilled. Now, this norm throws people off because fulfillment in life is subjective. How is it subjective, ladies and gentlemen? Well, not everyone in life needs romantic love as their primary source of fulfillment. In fact, not everyone needs romantic love in general. Some may need money as fulfillment. Some see academic achievement as source of fulfillment. Some may even find fulfillment in other types of love. For example, let's talk about the poor. In their eyes, ladies and gentlemen, they see stability in life as their fulfillment. They need money to improve their life. They lack money. They need access to basic human needs. Do you think romantic love would solve their financial issues, or do you think romantic love is needed for the current situation? Now, fulfillment varies according to life, ladies
I
and
please.
gentlemen. Yes.
You have been talking about romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment. Then why are you confusing basic needs and romantic love? Please clarify.
Sir, today's motion is about the norm of romantic love as the primary source of fulfillment. What I'm talking about is how other people needs to have other sources as their fulfillment. For example, poor people, they need money to be fulfilled. That's what I'm talking about, sir. Now, moving on. Romantic love may be used as coping mechanisms for the poor people because it doesn't make them rich. From fairy tales to romantic comedies and even pop songs, we've been sold a lie since childhood. May I add that one person, just one, will complete this? No, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't work that way. Do you really think we can look back at our lives and say, well, I've had an amazing life and I'm satisfied with it? If we primarily obtain romantic love but achieve nothing, in reality, it takes a village to be loved. This is where our family, our friends, our surrounding community comes into play. A 75-year study conducted by Harvard researchers tracked the work, home lives, and health of 724 individuals. They found that the people who are more socially connected, family, friends, and community are happier, physically healthier, and live longer than people who are less well connected. Ladies and gentlemen, notice how it says family, friends, and community. Not just your significant other. You can be single and still have deep relationships and someone to share moments of your life with. It takes a well-balanced combination of all these to fulfill you. Next, Tony Robbins, a world-famous motivational speaker, has shared some rules of fulfillment. Let me briefly take you through some of them. 1, make new decisions. To have a fulfilling life, you have to be master of your own life. If you want to be the next master of your life, you have to make good decisions on consistent basis. Next, he also said the secret of life is giving. He believed that if you give, if you give, even when you don't have money to do so, security will live your life. Your point.
You based off your evidence on a motivational speaker. Don't you think that their views are quite subjective on this subject? Please clarify.
As our point today, ladies and gentlemen, fulfillment in life is already subjective. Now, moving on. Making an impact and adding values to people's life brings great joy, fulfillment. Again, notice how there's no mention of romantic love whatsoever anyway. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude to everyone. Now, pay close attention. The norm of romantic love creates a false narrative in a person's life, and it is detrimental to the society. How is it detrimental? It creates a mindset for people that they can primarily be fulfilled with romantic love. Now, before I end my speech, I would like to reaffirm side government stand on the motion. This House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life, as we opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life, because the norm of romantic love as the primary source in one's life is detrimental to society, as fulfillment in life is subjective. The attentiveness of government has already proven why this motion stands firmly in this debate. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I humbly beg to propose.
Thank you.
The time taken for the first debater from government team is 8 minutes and 2 seconds.
Okay. I shall now invite Ms. June Jayumi Jimmy as the opposition leader to deliver her speech.
Is my voice clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Greetings to everybody inside this meeting today. To our Miss Speaker, our wise timekeeper, honorable adjudicators, my fellow opponents, my colleagues, and everybody inside this meeting. We, the opposition team, agree with the definition of the motion given by the government side. However, we disagree with your stand. Us as the opposition team for today's motion have the stand. And our stand is there are many sources of other fulfillments in life, and romantic love is the primary source because naturally it is the foundation of human existence in life today. Now, why do we say that it is naturally the foundation of human existence in lives today? That which is romantic love is biologically natural for humans. Now, the government team said that it is not fulfillment is subjective and love is not the primary fulfillment. But then again, the lives
Point,
of
ma'am.
Yes.
We didn't say that love is not the source of fulfillment. We agree that some people find fulfillment in romantic love. However, we disagree with the fact that with the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment. Please clarify.
For us, romantic love should be the source of fulfillment, because if we see the fact that children or every single human's life begins with them being children,
Ma'am.
and children can only be upbrought in a healthy way
Point, ma'am.
by love from their parents. And if their parents healthily raise them, and if their parents have good relationship with each other, which is romantic love, they would be able to make a healthy family. Our first argument is the pursuit of
POI, please, ma'am.
happiness. Everything we do is for the sake of happiness. When you are together with someone you are romantically in love with, the brain sends out dopamine to the person. Dopamine brings happiness and motivation. It makes your day better. And when you have motivation, we will be able to pursue what we want to pursue better. It encourages us to move forward. Now, in a study conducted at the University of Zurich, oxytocin, which is produced from love, was shown to lower the stress hormone cortisol and regulate interpersonal relationship in a positive way. Apart from building trust and intimacy, the hormone is also known to lower blood pressure and acts as an effective sedative.
POI, please, ma'am.
Rejected. Okay, then. There is a national report where the happiness index of love and relationship in America shows that 64% in 2018, and it has increased to 83% in 2019. About how Americans are happy with romantic relationships, and this happiness provides us the strive to move forward in life, in which why we state in our stand that it
Right,
is
ma'am.
a foundation in life. Yes.
Other sources of fulfillment can also motivate us to move forward. Please clarify.
Other sources of fulfillment can run out. We can experience burnout from this kind of fulfillment. For example, if we're pursuing our dreams or pursuing good grades, we can feel burnout from that. And moving on, now from a health standpoint, since our brain responds to romantic love and turns on the neurotransmitter for dopamine, without romantic love, we will feel loneliness. And loneliness
POI,
has
please,
a
ma'am.
very detrimental effect not only on people not only on the emotional level of people, but also physically. Let's take, for example, the people in Japan, where 67.3% of the people there are more likely to die lonely. Loneliness can kill. Loneliness is likely to bring about depression. So lonely, they start to see the world as mundane, repetitive, dull,
ma'am.
sad, rejected. We tend to be self-conscious of why we can't be happy and hate. They tend to be self-conscious of why they can't be happy and hate themselves for that. Which
Wait, ma'am.
brings me to my next point, which is self-love. We are going to need a person in our lives to tell us that we are worth it. And families and friends alone won't necessarily be able to prove to be able to completely tell this to us. We need a partner, a
QR, please,
stranger
ma'am.
that we love, which we are romantically in love with, to tell us about this. And then when they tell us about this, we will be able to see this world in a better way. And this shows why we need love to survive, which is to provide the happiness that triumphs over loneliness. Romantic loves bring, this is why we mentioned in our stand that romantic love is a foundation in our lives. Our second reason, romantic love brings a healthy family. Romantic love means the parents love each other and they would strive to continue that happiness. In other words, strive to be a happy family. A healthy family is a life foundation not only for the parents, but for the child. This is important because a child deserves the happiness. Lives and existence are continued because of the love, because the child is raised in a healthy environment and the parents can continue to strive for their happiness. This is why our stand as the opposition team today states that there are many that states that romantic love is the primary source because naturally it is the foundation of human existence and lives today. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. June.
The time taken for the first debater from opposition team is 7 minutes and 37 seconds.
I now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Kee An Itante, to deliver his speech.
Am I audible? Cool.
Yes.
Panel, we live in a society where we tend to place romantic love on a pedestal. Before that, salutations I bid to everybody. The motion of today's debate is this House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life. So I'll be doing two things in my speech today. First, I will be rebutting all of the misleading information and points stated by the previous speaker, and I'll be presenting my own point that will support my team's overall case, which is this House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source in one's life because it is detrimental to society, as fulfillment in life is subjective. Panel, they have agreed with our definition. So I assume, right, that they would engage with us and try to debate the debate. So I'll be moving on to my rebuttals first. First of all, their team's case is romantic love is the natural foundation for existence. Panel, we are here to debate whether or not having romantic love as your primary source of fulfillment in life is good or not. We're not here to debate whether romantic love fulfills you. No, my first speaker already said romantic love can fulfill you because it's subjective. People find romantic love fulfilling in their life. So what? We accept that. We're not saying that romantic love cannot fulfill you. No, we are simply saying why it is bad for the norm itself of have romantic love as your primary source being bad overall. So her first point, it brings motivation to life. She brings up all of these hormones like oxytocin and dopamine. Panel, why is it only love that gives these type of hormones to be released by your body? No, dopamine, panel, even dopamine can be released when you take drugs. You see, all of these type of hormones, it's clearly irrelevant to today's motion. So next, she says loneliness can kill. Okay, if loneliness can kill, then what are you even talking about it in the first place? You're here to debate whether or not the norm itself of having romantic love as your primary source of fulfillment is good or not. Next, she talks about self-love. Okay, what does that have to do with emotion? Okay, so then she brings up about how romantic love can produce a happy family. Panel, what about orphans? Are you saying that they will never be fulfilled in their life just because they've never had a happy family before? No, obviously not. We're saying that this is why side opposition is saying that we should oppose the norm itself of romantic love being the primary source of fulfillment, because it simply is not. And we've also stated that it's detrimental to society. Moving on to my first point, panel. It brings unnecessary pressure to our society. Panel, what do I mean by this? The media portrays romantic love as sunshines and rainbows. All of this can lead to bleeds in romantic relationships that cause people to have this false perception, like my first speaker said, of romantic relationships in the first place. Based on a study by the University of Florida, people believe that media portrayal is unachievable overall, and this false narrative has caused 75% of their relationships, their personal relationships, to have an end because they were comparing themselves to the media. So this is obviously detrimental to, i.e., a stakeholder that would be teenagers, but because they will refer to the media for an insight on how romantic love should be like. This is why we oppose the whole norm in the first place, panel. So based on a poll done by the University of Hertfordshire, 95% of their students ranging from 19 to 23 years old has claimed that they have referred in the past to the media on how their relationships could have been. Because let's be honest, as a teenager, you don't know how your romantic relationship should have been. So that has already caused a very, very unnecessary pressure on them, panel. So this is why I actually said that in the first place. So, panel, there's nothing new here, okay? When you are surrounded with standards, especially by the media, as humans, we try our best to be a part of that norm. But, okay, for example, in Korea, right? Women are surrounded with this beauty standard. And this has caused a negative and detrimental effect because parents started to tell their children that they are not good enough for society. So when this happens, obviously I'm going to bring up on how it's it brings unnecessary pressure to the society as a whole. So what happens when when we are pressured into a societal norm, panel? So it produces generations with a corrupt mindset and mental health, causing an overall quality of society to decrease. Problems like suicide, depression, stress, anxiety will continue to increase if the pressure of having an unrealistic relationship continues to transpire. Panel, this is why we oppose the norm itself of romantic relationships being the primary source of fulfillment in life. Time and time again, side government tells you that fulfillment in life is subjective. Hence why a norm should not influence the society into thinking that romantic love is the primary source or like the main way to fulfill yourself in life. Panel, remember that we are not here to say that romantic love is bad. No, we are not here saying romantic love is bad. Some people find romantic love fulfilling in their life. Okay, we accept that. We are simply here to say that when we put everything down in status quo, in the norm itself, when we put everything away and believe that romantic love can fulfill our society, then there will be detrimental effects like what my first speaker said and like what I have stated so far and proven to you do happen in our society. So, Pano, what have we said? Okay, I will wrap it up and I would reaffirm my beliefs. That is, we oppose the norm that romantic relationships should be a primary source in one's life because it is detrimental to society, because fulfillment in life is subjective. So, panel, with this, I'm proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kian.
The time taken for the second debater from government team is 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Sorry, 54 seconds.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to listen to the second opposition speaker, Mr. Hevinius Gunik. Go on.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Life is like mathematics. To work out your life, you need formulas that suit your uniqueness. The same is true of a romantic love. A norm that is romantic love is instrumental in a happy and satisfied life. People, those who have gone through this process, can help their life become more balanced. But before that, a very good evening to Miss Chairman, precise timekeeper, and honorable adjudicators, amazing opponents from the government side, and all those who are hearing this debate. Our first speaker has laid a very strong foundation by delivering our first point. I, as the Deputy Prime Minister, will now charge ahead with two more points to strengthen our case. I will again repeat my team stand that there are many sources of other fulfillments in life, and romantic love should be the primary source because naturally it is the foundation of human existence and lives today. But first, I will rebut what the second speaker have refused to acknowledge the flaws in the arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, they accept that dopamine is going to be released from the feeling we got after we got into a romantic love in our relationship. But why would they give the drug as an example, as one of the things that will release dopamine to our brain? And it is going to be one of the fulfillment to our lives. Why drugs of all things? Wouldn't romantic love would be the more positive choices than other sources? Okay, that is only I have what that is only what I want to rebut because I have a lot more points. I will now directly move on to my points. Fulfillment in life describes the happiness in life. Romantic love gives us a great feeling, isn't it? But don't take our word for it. Just read any kind of the majority of the classics of the 20th century that deal with the topic, or watch any of the Romance kind of films, and so on. You'll get the drift. Being in a healthy way, two-way, loving relationship is an incredible feeling and is one of the pinnacles of the brief existence that is our life. No mistake, it is a positive feeling. Based on our theme stand, love remains important throughout human existence, evolved throughout the course of relationship and the journey of human life. Ladies and gentlemen, romantic love grants us a partner who supports everything in our life. We can get the emotional support from there and everything support. Just as you will share good moments with your partner, you should also be open and ready to show them your vulnerable side and to explain to them if there is something that is bothering you in the relationship. It gives a way to more solid and durable state which can cement a relationship between two people together throughout the eras of life difficulties.
PYP,
An
sir.
exa- wait, an example based on a paper written on the CDC website said that Americans who live with their partners are 44% more likely to live happily than the other people who live on their own. Yes, what is it?
Can you please prove to me why having a romantic partner should be the primary source in fulfilling your life? Please clarify.
Don't worry, this will be in my point. This will be in my elaboration later. Love is powerful because it transforms and evolves throughout the course of relationship and the journey of human life. It gives way to a more solid and durable state between two people together throughout the life difficulties. Therefore, romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment because naturally it is the foundation of human existence and life. Ladies and gentlemen, romantic love helps us with self-actualization. When you are in a romantic love, it's easy to fall into routines and to repeat the patterns every day. However, change is good, everyone, and you should welcome it. Both you and your partner will change over time, and that is completely normal and exciting. The most important thing is to help each
Sir,
other every step of the way.
Sir,
Yes.
are you insinuating that we cannot improve as individuals alone and we only need a partner in order to improve in life? Please clarify.
Actually, having a relationship, romantic love with people have the advantage and the improvement on ourselves will be enhanced. That will my answer. Then I will continue. We'll also want to feel different things in different period, which is fine as well. It is excellent source of motivation. When you are in love, you feel you always want to create, you are inspired, you want to aim for better. You are not just spending time in vain sense either. That is to say, it is not merely for the sake of your partner loving you more, but also to do better in life, because you are going to set a new goal just to achieve of your both of you new
Point, sir.
goals. Rejected, sorry. And generally strive for the best. The upswing in positive thoughts is also noticeable that itself make a big differences. Therefore, romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment because naturally it is the foundation of human existence and life. Take an example, Adam and Eve. How would how would human existence would continue without romantic love each other, and how would they uh, create a child to make humans continue to exist in this world? Hence, this is the end
PYP,
of
sir.
no, sorry, rejected. In conclusion, romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in a person's life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hevinius.
The time taken for the second debater from opposition team is 7 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay, to proceed.
Okay. Before we continue, I would like to remind all main debaters to switch on your camera all the time. Okay, now moving on. I shall now call upon the third minister from the government, Ms. Anoshka Yusak, to rebut.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be breaking down this motion into simpler terms because side opposition cannot seem to understand this motion. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a simple analogy. In a world where sweets are popular and a boy was injured, instead of taking the bandages that he needed to survive, he chose the sweets because it was a norm of where he came from. Ladies and gentlemen, the simple question I'm asking you today is why should he take something that he doesn't need for himself? Before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, salutations I bid to members of the floor. As the third speaker of today's of side government, I'll be doing two things for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be refuting side opposition's claims on the motion, as well as reaffirming our team's stand on the motion. Now, first of all, let me point out that side opposition's case line, basically the stand, is that romantic love is the natural foundation in life and existence. And ladies and gentlemen, I will prove to you why this is completely irrelevant to the motion in the first place and why they have failed to engage in the debate for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with the counter rebuttals that I had. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about whether romantic love is a valid source of fulfillment or if it's a good source of fulfillment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about whether the norm is good for the people, ladies and gentlemen. We agree that romantic love has its benefits. However, ladies and gentlemen, the norm that we should primarily feel fulfilled through romantic love is very detrimental to society, as what my first and second speaker has been talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not engaging in the debate with us today because they have completely left out the key word in today's debate, which is the norm, ladies and gentlemen. But allow me to play under their paradigm, because if they're not going to engage in the debate with us, allow me to engage in the debate with them. Now, under their paradigm, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we agree that romantic love has positive effects. However, the norm that it should be the primary source of fulfillment is detrimental, as I've mentioned before. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the second speaker of side opposition has not rebutted a single thing any of my speakers has said. Instead, he has actually rebutted an example, but I'll not get into that, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a simple waste of time. Let's talk about the second speaker, ladies and gentlemen. One of his points was happiness in life. Ladies and gentlemen, opposition is proving that this norm is dangerously blinding to a society. Happiness in life is not only derived from romantic love, and in fact, romantic love can even lead to sadness, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, their point does not stand at all. He even talked about self-actualization. Ladies and gentlemen, side opposition is implying that we cannot improve individually in life. If that is how we see life, ladies and gentlemen, where we can only improve in life with someone else, it is detrimental.
Point of information, please.
Accepted.
You mentioned that romantic love can lead to sadness and yet continue without bringing any proof to the table. Can you please elaborate?
Ladies and gentlemen, side opposition completely lacks common sense. When someone is when someone is broken off from a relationship, ladies and gentlemen, obviously it's going to lead to sadness. I can't believe that's even a POI that she would ask in the first place. Now, continuing, ladies and gentlemen, if we see life in a way where we can only improve with someone else in our side, it is detrimental and undermines our self-worth and is completely contradicting their point on self-love, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the norm is completely dangerous because it makes us believe that we can only be happy when we achieve romantic love, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he also spoke about procreation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to touch on this that much because it is a completely irrelevant point to the motion. People can well procreate with or without having romantic love, having the norm of where romantic love is the primary source of fulfillment in life. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to the first speaker. Now, she spoke about motivation as well as the second speaker. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to clarify that we can well be motivated with or without romantic love. Now, she goes on and says that the sources of fulfillment, other sources of fulfillment, is not long-lasting, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly, which we can say the same thing about romantic love, which shows that their point does not stand and is completely baseless, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to thank side opposition, in fact, for agreeing with us on their next 2 points that I will be elaborating for you today. Now, the first thing she spoke about was loneliness. Thank you for agreeing with us, ladies and gentlemen. People feel lonely because of the norm, because the fact that society has made us feel that we are only complete when we have achieved romantic love. Thank you for agreeing with us. If we were to oppose this norm, ladies and gentlemen, according to side government, opposition's issue of loneliness is completely disproved, ladies and gentlemen, which shows that we have completely obliterated their points. Now let's talk about her third point, which is self-love. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just flat out just say that this is an irrelevant point to the motion. Under our definition, ladies and gentlemen, romantic love is between two people. People can well love themselves with or without a lover, and this shows that even under their paradigm, ladies and gentlemen, their point does not stand, and this proves that the norm the norm of having romantic love as the primary fulfillment in life is actually detrimental because it shows us that we are not adequate enough to live life alone, ladies and gentlemen. If we oppose the norm, again, like what side government has been telling you for the past 30 minutes, this issue that side government has brought up, side opposition has brought up, would not be an issue in the first place. Now let's talk about their last point, ladies and gentlemen, which is about a happy family. Ladies and gentlemen, let me clarify, the happy families are not built only from romantic love. And this is something that side opposition has missed throughout the whole debate. They think that romantic love is the core structure to every single element in life. However, ladies and gentlemen, happy things come from multiple elements at the same time, not only romantic love. Happy families are built from hundreds of many elements, not only romantic love, like my second speaker has mentioned before. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have told you earlier on today that I will show why their case line is completely irrelevant to the motion. Now, as my second speaker has already proved why it's irrelevant, now let's play under their paradigm, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you that even under their paradigm, they are completely not making sense. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say the case line again for you, just in case you forget. They say that there are many sources of fulfillment in life, but romantic love is. They said that romantic love is the primary source because it's the natural foundation of existence. Again, ladies and gentlemen, under their paradigm, we have proven that they are wrong because there are so many elements to existence, and we have elements to existence that can make us fulfilled in life, and we have disproved their case line with our own. So it is completely baseless, ladies and gentlemen. Now that I'm running out of time, let me reaffirm our team stand on the motion that this house opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of fulfillment in someone's life because the norm of romantic love as the primary source in one's life is detrimental to society, as fulfillment in life is subjective. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we proudly propose to the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Anushka.
The time taken for the third debater from government team is 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. It is now time to listen to the rebuttals of the third opposition speaker, Ms. Dura Khadija.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you to the chair speaker. A very good afternoon. I would like to bid the honorable adjudicators, punctilious timekeepers, worthy opponents of the government, wise members of parliament, and members of the house. We are gathered here today to debate the motion that has been given, which is, this house opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of self-fulfillment in a person's life. Well, we as the government have our own team stand, which is there are many sources of self-fulfillment. But romantic love naturally should be the primary foundation of because it is the primary foundation of human existence and life today. Now, I, as the third speaker, will start off my speech by rebutting the points or the rebuttals have been given by the third speaker of the government. First and foremost, they said that the second speaker of the opposition has not rebutted anything. Well, to be honest, there are not many points to be rebutted in the first place. If we are saying about the points given by the first speaker of the government and second speaker of the government, both of their points are very similar. And I feel that the rebuttals given by the first speaker of the opposition are already enough to rebut the points because they are very similar in fashion. Detrimental and gives out a false image, says the government said first speaker. And then the second speaker continues to say that media portrays relationships as rainbows and sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you think false image and media portrays relationships in a way that it is very glamorized, very romanticized, the same kind of definition they're giving with their points? Now, next, I would like to say that a point of information I have given the third speaker, which she replied with, this can bring sadness because the couple who had feelings of romantic love broke up. Well, what do you think the effects of this are? Cardiomyopathy. Cardiomyopathy is disease where people feel so much sadness from something that was so primary to their source of self-fulfillment. It makes their heart stop beating. If you think that losing something as important as romantic love can cause death, don't you think that this is an indicator that it should be a primary source of our self-fulfillment? The third speaker and the second speaker of the government said that we are implying that we cannot improve on our own without another person. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring back the point that has been given by the second and first speaker of the opposition, which is self-love and self-actualization. With someone by our side, it is easier to love ourselves. That's why romantic love should be one of the primary sources because it enables us to better
Point, ma'am.
ourselves and improve ourselves in a way that is better and easier. Yes?
So are you saying that our friends, our family, or other people around us are not people for us to like not feel alone?
Thank you for your POI. Now, are you familiar with the sentence, blood of the convent is thicker than the water of the womb? Well, I would not like to slide over the fact that family and friends, sure, they also provide us with self-fulfillment. But the reason why romantic love is different and why it is why people crave this sort of affection is because it has been built into us biologically. We get
Point, ma'am.
Yes.
So I, as a student, I have failing grades. Oh no, I'm failing in my exam. So I need to have romantic love. It must be in me to be fulfilled. Are you implying that? Please clarify.
Thank you for your POI. But once again, I would not answer that because you are not the student. You are now the prime minister in this debate. And I would not answer that POI because that is irrelevant to what we are talking about today. Now, moving on. the second speaker said that we are not talking about the benefits of romantic love, while they go on stressing and rambling about why it is detrimental. Well, I think it is quite humorous that when
POI,
romantic
please, ma'am.
love denied, when romantic love was brought up into the equation, bringing up dopamine to people, making people happier, the first thing that the government gave as an example are drugs. Do you really think drugs are better than romantic love in the sense
POI, please,
that
ma'am.
something that gives dopamine? Denied. Also, I would like to clarify. I would like to bring up that the second speaker gave a point of information to our second speaker to hear the proof as to why romantic love should be the primary source. Well, I feel like that in debate, it will be explained, it will be elaborated, but they were so impatient to hear what we think of the motion today that they had to give us a point of information to ask for our opinions and our facts. Don't you think that that is an indicator that we, in a sense, have already made an impact that romantic love should be the primary source of self-fulfillment? Now, to quote the first speaker of the government, self-fulfillment is subjective, and yet they criticize the way poor people feel happier with romantic love by saying, oh, I have romantic love now.
Point,
That is
ma'am.
okay that I'm poor. Denied. At the same time, they invalidated people by saying that romantic love isn't everything, but at the same time, they keep advocating by saying they are not denying romantic love, and yet they keep doing it. They keep backpedaling. And so I would like to, in conclusion, I would like to strengthen and wrap everything up neatly by saying that the government has only provided rebuttals to our points, and given the points that are very similar and alike with each other, making us impossible to rebut it because there is nothing to rebut at all. There is no substance. To quote the first speaker, they have given the example of a motivational speaker when our first speaker of the opposition has given numbers, statistics, articles, researches, and scientific discoveries within this motion. Do you not think that it is such a big difference in power to bring something so subjective into something that could be explained and elaborated in a scientific way? And therefore, we, as the opposition, would like to reaffirm our stand by saying that this House, we oppose the motion that has been given today, which is this House opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source of self-fulfillment in a person's life, because there are many sources of self-fulfillment, but romantic love naturally should be the primary source because it is the foundation of human existence and life itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dura.
The time taken for the third debater from opposition team is 8 minutes and 1 second.
Proceed.
Now that we have heard all the three speakers from both teams, we shall take a short break of 3 minutes. During this time, both the government and the opposition teams will prepare the reply speech. The audience is requested to keep quiet during this time. The, the time of 3 minutes has ended. I shall now invite the opposition leader, speaker from the opposition, Ms. June Jayumi, to make her reply speech.
Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings to the speaker, honorable adjudicator, wise timekeeper, members of the government team, and my colleagues, as well as the members of today's meeting. We, as the opposition team, would say that our team has made strong rebuttals, whilst the government team that keeps that's stating their arguments as well as their rebuttals has been beating around the bush. Romantic love is a a speaker from the government team said that gave an analogy where a kid or something took candy instead of what? But why are they confusing fulfillment, which is achievement, with vital needs? We all can't be people that confuse these two. In order to achieve, of course we need vital things. And also, it has stuck to me as to why did the government team, who acknowledges romantic love as a source of fulfillment, suddenly give an example about how dopamine can be simply earned from drugs. It has stuck to me. Do you see love, romantic love, as something as low as drugs? Are you implying that doing drugs can just replace romantic love itself? And now, about what the first speaker has said, about what the speaker from the government team has said about comparing romantic love to TV shows, saying how they make romantic love as something glamorous and stuff. It has warped our idea of how romantic relationships work. We do not see Cinderella leaving her glass slippers on the stairs as her Prince Charming chases after her. We don't immediately think of, oh, how realistic this is. No, during his deluded speech, he didn't take in account that society has actual thoughts. Majority of the world has experienced romantic love, and everyone understands that it's not like the movies. That doesn't mean emotions we feel aren't in depth when we experience romantic love. We have run in circles having to keep explaining why romantic love should be in fact the primary source of fulfillment in our lives. Our stand says that romantic love is naturally a primary source because naturally it's the foundation of human existence and lives today. That's why once again, we as the opposition team say this, that we should be the winners of today's debate. We are against today's motion and we are proud to strive for what we believe in. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. June.
The time taken for the reply speech by the opposition team is 4 minutes and 2 seconds.
Okay, kindly proceed.
I shall now call upon the Deputy Prime Minister from the government team, Mr. Ki Am, to give his reply speech.
Testing, am I audible?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Reply Speech Arena, where I'll be cross-examining both sides of the debate and telling you why we win today's debate. First, panel, this is the last speech of today's debate, so please listen closely because side opposition has failed to do so. I'll be doing two things. First, why they're wrong. Second, why we're right. Hence, why we win today's debate. So let's talk about why they're wrong. They have given us 3 points. I'll be talking about their second point, self-love. Okay, what does that have to do with the debate today? Nothing. Then they have given their first and third point, which is the motivation to move forward in life and the motivation to do better. And they have the audacity to tell me that my points is similar to my first speaker's points. I find that very hypocritical. So let's talk about their case line. Romantic love is the natural foundation of existence. Like my third speaker has said, there are other factors that make up our existence, but yet they fail to prove us why that romantic love actually is the natural foundation in the first place for our existence. So let me move on to the third speaker. Her only role is to rebut our points and strengthen her team's case. But yet again, she chooses to make up excuses for not rebutting or even understanding our points of information in the first place. In her reply speech, she says that we're running in circles. Panel, I say that they have been running away from us this entire debate. Moving to why we are right. First, we've given you two strong points, panel. My first speaker has brought up the false narrative of romantic love. This norm itself causes or throws people off because fulfillment in life is subjective. This is why side government has been telling you over and over again. It's even stated in our case line that fulfillment in life is subjective. Moving on to the second point that the government has stated. This norm brings unnecessary pressure to society. Panel, if you look at the 2 points, how are they similar in the first place? So this is why I was very, very confused with Darura. Okay, so why do we say this? Why do I say that it brings unnecessary pressure to society? First, it's simply because the media portrays romantic love as something so fulfilling that it's worth sacrificing everything for. This is why government stands over here and opposes the norm itself, stating that we're just opposing the whole status quo itself. So I'll be talking about both of our worlds in today's debate. First, in our world, society will be less influenced by romantic love, will be less influenced by societal norms into thinking that romantic love should be the primary source for fulfillment in one's life. This is better time and time again because side government keeps saying that fulfillment in life is subjective. Side opposition fails to realize this, panel. So in their world, society will continue to be influenced by societal norms that will cause detrimental effects to those who do not find fulfillment in romantic love, and for those who believe that fulfillment in life primarily comes from romantic love. So these are the two parties that we have been stating, and we have been trying to engage with them, but they fail to engage with us. Even my whip stated that, oh, let's play in their paradigm just to debate, because in her whole entire speech is to rebut them, but they are not engaging with us. How is my whip supposed to rebut them in the first place, panel? So I would like to just close my case by stating this house opposes the norm that romantic love should be the primary source in one's life because it is detrimental to society, as fulfillment itself, fulfillment in life is subjective. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kian.
The time taken for the reply speech by the government team is 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
We have now come to the end of the debate. This debate will be won by the team which scores a majority of votes from the adjudicators. Now, the adjudicators may proceed to the deliberation room. Chief Adjudicator, may we continue?
Wait for everyone to join first.
Okay.
Okay, I think everybody's here. Yep. Proceed.
Okay. Before the announcement of the result, I would like to invite the Chief Adjudicator to give oral adjudication. In particular, it should outline the key reasons why the winning team won and comment on the significant matters of the debate. The Chief Adjudicator will also announce the winner of the debate and the best debater.
Okay, very good afternoon, everybody. It has been a long and tiring 2 days of sweat, maybe some tears, maybe some laughter. But these are the memories that you will remember for a long time to come. Yeah. So these are the wonders of growing up. But you guys are extra special because you are the COVID babies. COVID generation. And this is the first time we are doing it online. So, of course, there are some challenges. Give yourself a round of applause because you have made it this far. You have faced the challenges and you have trumped up trumps. Okay? Yeah, well done. All right. For you to reach semifinals in state level, that means, right? Yeah, that you are top 4 in the whole of Sabah. And we have so many districts. Okay? The whole of Sabah, we have 20 over districts. So you should be very, very proud of yourselves. Okay? So whatever that the results are today, yeah, it just means that A, you did good, or B, you should try harder. Itu saja, right? Okay, so never surrender. I want to highlight a few things. The first thing to do when you see a motion is you need to find the pivotal point. Okay, there will be one or maybe 2 words that will help you win and crack the case of this debate. So look at the motion very carefully. And which word is it? I'm very happy to see the government focused a lot on the individual words and made a point to point it out that this word will make or break the case. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, the opposition didn't seem to be able to find the pivotal words. So the pivotal words are norm and primary. So maybe you focus a bit on the word primary, yeah, which is the case, but you didn't focus much on norm. That's why you would have argued outside of the parameters, especially if you didn't understand the motion properly and if you didn't understand your role. because your role as government is to defend the motion. Yeah, you want to oppose this norm. But your role as the opposition is you want to break down the arguments. You want to show that the norm should be accepted. Actually, the motion is a bit confusing because it says the House opposes, right? So it's like a double negative. So in reality, the opposition was government and the government was opposition. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it was a lively discussion, right? Okay, so that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is you need to learn to highlight the wrongdoings or the fallacies or the things that they did wrong. But you need to do so in a very gentlemanly way. Because a debate, right, is a sparring of the mind. It's supposed to show how quick-witted you are and how fast like lightning your thoughts are. And then it's about the delivery. Okay, so we do not really encourage too aggressive kind of stance. You cannot put people down and you cannot make fun of them. You cannot jeer at them. That is the extreme case. Okay, so I want to talk about being more gentlemanly or present yourself in a more respectable way. Because if you go in with fire and hell and tears and blood, you just come out as a warrior, of course. But if you go in like a very cultured lawyer or judge or, you will have a better impression. Okay, so I'd like to say that while your arguments is really good, and then you are very passionate, but don't overdose, because the objective is to have a very clear, logical thinking discussion. Okay, now, if your job is to rebut, you have to rebut. You can't say there's nothing to rebut, because it kind of shows that you didn't listen actively. There's a difference between active and passive listening. So the key point of how to win a debate is not actually talking. It is actually listening. Yeah, you will notice that the best speakers are rarely first speaker. It is usually second and third speaker. Why? Not because the first speaker cannot be the best speaker. It's because he lacks the opportunity. Yeah, the opportunity of listening. So if you listen and you write the points down and you quote what the other people say, you have a higher chance of winning best speaker, best debater. Because you are able to quickly catch the point and you bidas, you need to explain why that point is invalid. Okay, so I would also like to say that you should never rebut examples. So too much emphasis on what examples were given is not the core of the debate. The core of the debate is A, fight their case line. B, fight their points systematically. Yeah? That debater said their point was blah, blah, blah. We say that is invalid or it doesn't hold water because blah, blah, blah. But you don't fight them by picking out their examples. So unfortunately, just now, too much emphasis was given on dopamine and drugs. Yeah, and I did notice that the government said we shouldn't waste time on this. That's good. Okay, so just an example for you to remember. Don't repeat the dopamine thing. You repeat it once, you say it once, and then you just let go. You find more important points to comment about. All right. Next thing is, what is this? You bought the points case. Your case line needs to be more consistent, because seems like when you have definition that is unclear and the one side picks up that your definition is unclear, it shows that the people who pick up your flaw, they are thinking on the spot. They are seeing your weaknesses and they're highlighting your weaknesses. So again, that's how you win a debate. Not just by shooting, okay? It's also by pausing and identifying weak spots. Then you need to highlight. That's how you win a debate. All right, I'm going on and on already. So remember, active listening, don't harp on examples. You need to use your time for rebuttals consistently. I'd like to say something about your 7-minute ding. When you hear the 7-minute, right, don't rush. Take a deep breath, gather your thoughts. When you are in training for your next round, which is you're representing Sabah, you need to practice your 7th-minute speech. Whatever you're doing up until that point, when you hear that ting, 7 minutes, right? You go into automated mode. You have already prepared that 1-minute final closing speech to make the best impression. So if you rush towards the end, kan, it doesn't give us a good impression already. It means you're nervous, you're emotional maybe. Okay, but I'm happy to see not everybody is as too emotional as I expected. Some of you were very calm, very collected. And I actually really like the third speaker of the opposition. Yeah, I wish that you had more substance. I'm very sorry to point you out, but I really hope that one day you go into Sharia law or something like this, because you have a beautiful personality that will convince others just by talking about logic. Okay? So for the winning team, think about it. How you can present your ideas without going bam, bam, bam. You have to go, see, I said this, see, I did this, they didn't do that, see, that's why we should win, instead of screaming and shouting lah. All right, but we like the passion, we like the fire, we just like it in a more gentlemanly way. Okay, it's like I'm giving a very long speech. Anyway, congratulations once again to everybody. Yeah, you did a fabulous job. You remember, you are top 4 in the whole of Sabah. Woohoo! Some states, like Perlis, only have how many districts, you know? Sabah, we have 20 over districts. Okay, right. So without further ado, okay, the House accepts the motion for today. And the best speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the best debater for today is the third speaker from the government. Well done. Okay, so it was really, really nice to see everybody perform. Yeah, good luck in your next round. Remember what I said. Okay, think of the pivotal point, think of your case line, your parameters, think of being gentlemanly enough to convince others without being condescending. All right, thank you very much. I hand over back to the chairperson.
And with that, the House of Parliament is adjourned.
You can switch